Hello and welcome to GMS training session number 2. During session 2, we will go over how to complete an athlete medical form and everything that it entails. On today's agenda, we will be going over the application for participation, the athlete consent form, the MedFest form, the MHSAA form, and the young athlete form. During session 2, we will be showing you what a complete athlete participation form entails, the difference of the 3 other forms that we have, and what a complete consent form looks like. During today's session, I will be showing you Chip Potts as an example of an athlete and what his medical form looks like as it is completed. So when you go into GMS, you will go to Find People by Personal Data, and you will type in his last name, and here we find Chip, and here you can see that his first and last name is given, his gender, which is male, his date of birth, he is an athlete, and his group is testing, the date that he was started as an athlete, and the date that he's active. Here in addresses, you will find the drop-down of home, parent, guardian, and emergency contact. Here is his listed information with his address, city, state, zip code, and country. Here we have Mrs. Potts, who is his parent or guardian, and she has provided an address, so we entered that in along with all her other information, which includes a phone number, his emergency contact that has a relationship of his uncle, his state where he lives, and his phone number. He does have some alerts present, which is shunts, medications, and seizures. His emergency contact number and name, and his certifications, his consent form, which was created on 6/8/2020, the signature, and the expiration date, and who it was signed by, and the signer's name. And then his medical information, which he has provided his insurance company, his policy number, his parent and guardian's name, as well as another listing of the emergency contact, the signature date, the expiration date, along with seizures. He's visually impaired, meaning he could wear contact lenses or glasses. He has medications, shunts, all of his personal information, along with his examiner and his examiner address. And then if we go into custom fields, on his sheet, he is a bedwetter. So we have clicked that in there just for one-on-one housing information. And that is what the completed form looks like. So after seeing Chip Potts' information, we go to the application for participation. This consists of 4 sections. All of the sections on the sheet must be complete in order for it to be considered complete. This can be found on our website in case you need one. This is good from 3 years on the date that is signed on your form. And there is a link provided in the PowerPoint to lead you to the application on our website. Section A has numerous slots for information. However, this is the completed form. We ask that you minimally put first name, last name, gender, date of birth, an address, a phone number, and the parent, guardian, and emergency contact information for your athletes. You can fill in everything. However, we ask that you minimally include the boxes above. Next, we have section B, which consists of 24 boxes. Each one of them must be completed or marked in order for them to be complete. Section C is the athlete release. This will need signed and dated in order for us to take it. If it is not, we will have to send it back to the sender and have the athlete and his or her parent sign and complete this before we enter the data into our systems. Section D must be completed by the doctor. The athlete's height, weight, and blood pressure are suggested to be filled out. Additional notes from the examiner are to be entered in this portion as well. They must check the box which allows the athlete to complete. We require a doctor's signature and a date to go along with it, a medication list, and the doctor's address. This is an example of a completed form. If your form does not look like this, we may send it back just to ensure that we have the correct data. An incomplete form would look like this. We use the example of Mickey Mouse. There's no emergency contact number. There's no date on the athlete release. There's no doctor's signature or date. In section D, you'll see C attached written. There's no medical list and they forgot to attach it. And only a certain amount of section B is filled out. And this is the blank form which you will find on our website. Next, we have the MHSAA form. This is only valid for 1 year. It is provided by schools in order to play. SOMI does not count MHSAA consent as a consent to play, and you will need the actual consent page, which can be found later on this document. This is 2 pages long, and we need both pages and consent in order for this to be recorded correctly. And this is the link, which will be provided in the slideshow on the website, in case you wanted to see what that looks like. Next, we have the MedFest form. This has no consent, so you will also have to fill out a consent form when using this. This form is 4 pages long and it all must be completed. No place for a proper athlete information, so it only provides us with a few details of the athlete versus all that we ask for, and this is valid for 3 years. Once again, this is a link to where you can find the MedFest form, and it will be on the slideshow in the website. This is the athlete consent form, which I previously mentioned. This athlete consent form is used in place of section C on the application for participation. If you use any form other than the application for participation, this must be turned in with your forms in order for your athlete to participate. And like the application for participation, this is good for 3 years from the date it is signed. Which leads us to young athletes. This is ages 2 to 8, and the young athlete form is valid until the athlete's 8th birthday. After the 8th birthday, they will need the application for participation filled out to be considered in playing in regular events. And you can find that form on this link, which is on the website. Where to find SOMI forms? Both are on the SOMI website under different tabs. The application for participation is under the Get Involved tab and Become an Athlete, and then you will find the form under Athlete Resources. And the Young Athlete form can be found under the Programs tab, which leads you to Young Athletes, and then you will find the form under Young Athlete Resources. Who needs to have these forms? Regional offices, area directors, coaches, and parents all need a copy of these forms. Area directors, please keep a copy of your athlete's form on you at all times during events, in addition to turning it in to your designated region and to their coach. This way, we can be sure that there are extra forms in case of an emergency for the liability of the athletes. In order for your athletes to participate, they must have a completed medical form and consent form. Our final point, please be sure to check the forms that you receive and send your athletes completed forms to your designated SOMI region. The next session will be on June 3rd, 2020 at 5:30 to 6:30, which would be on past game information, roster numbers, and ratios. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact Jill, Julia, or Mary at your designated region for more information.